Hi there, this is Zsuzsa Kecsmar, CMO and co-founder of Antavo.
And I'm Jörn Roegler, the VP of Strategy and Insight at Antavo.
If you look at loyalty programs, there are basically two types of loyalty programs. One is done by brands and the other is done by retailers. Though there might not be too much difference on the outside, but actually from the motives and the deep loyalty strategies that are used, there is a difference between the two. Jörn, what are the motives that are different at brands and retailers while they're thinking of their customer retention?
Well, we'd have to see that brands and retailers operate slightly different business models. So a retailer really is faced with customers with a higher frequency. Take the example of a fashion client or a fashion retailer. A customer might come buy a coat from one brand, then a little later buy a handbag from a second brand, come back again, buy shoes from a third brand. So a retailer has 3 transactions, while each of the brands only has 1 transaction. So a retailer is faced with much more frequent interactions with a customer, many more transactions.
On the other hand, they might not have these transactions at all because their market is very much competitive, right? This is what you wanted to say?
I was going to go there, but yeah, you're right. So the nature of retail then also means that it's much more competitive because it's easier kind of to copy the model of a retailer. Because anyone has access to these brands and can resell them. And it has to be done, it doesn't even have to be done locally anymore. The emergence of e-commerce, mobile shopping, etc., you can have retailers from all over the world that now compete for a local customer. So the retailer needs to really differentiate in the moment where the transaction is being considered. He has to, the customer needs to make a choice for this retailer and against another retailer. If we look at a brand, the situation is a bit different. Brands, by the very nature of what a brand is, are already differentiating through design, quality, price points, even through matters of sustainability and such.
Okay, so the point is that what we know about retailers is that they want to differentiate themselves, and brands, they are okay with differentiating themselves by nature. What they want is to give something more to their customers, to engage their customers, and to drive word of mouth. So it might add up as one more differentiator factor to their brand so they can spread the word about themselves.
Yeah, brand loyalists have more value to a brand than just buying things. If you take the example of luxury, just the pure fact that wealthy people or celebrities are wearing a certain brand creates this aspiration in people that don't even, they don't have the means yet to afford a brand. But just the very nature of the fact that the brand is recognizable, it creates this aspiration. And just these people that want to have the brand, but they can't afford it yet, is powerful in itself because they talk about it. It makes it a status. So justifying a luxury type price point comes also from the fact that a lot of people aspire to wear this brand. So if you are the one lucky enough to afford it, you differentiate by that recognition in itself. So engagement, even from people that can't buy you, is valuable.
That's clear. So that are the motives behind why a brand and the retailer wants to run a loyalty program. And what do you think about how actually the loyalty program looks like, which is run by a brand or a retailer? How are they different?
Yeah, there is no clear rule here, but on trends or the direction in which it goes would say that retailers tend to have programs that are a bit more transactional focused. So the incentives are more on buying and purchasing. Likewise, the rewards are going to be rewards that make a transaction easier and cheaper. So they will tend to see more vouchers in there, but very much also purchase-related services like free shipping or a stylist advice in a shop, shopping assistance, extended return rights to purchases, which makes this retailer more attractive compared to the next door retailer. A brand will have programs with much more long-term elements. So encouraging customers to consume content, to engage on social media, but also to create content and to participate in the life of a brand. You know, come to, let's say, a fashion show or help select the new look for the next collection, spring, summer.
Yeah, to inspire the new collection, to get invited to get inspired by the new collection, or to participate in these thematic campaigns that are valid for the brand. So, for example, if the brand supports body positivity, then there can be an entire campaign, which is part of the loyalty program, built to support this.
Exactly. For a brand, being talked about is just incredibly important. So understanding your customers and giving them what is relevant to them, which encourages them to then go out, talk about the brand, promote the brand, very important. There's one little aspect I wanted to mention just because it's emerging in the market. Brands are also now beginning more and more to look for ways to get to the customer directly. So build their own retail channels to brands, and their own websites, their own flagship stores. We've seen it. It's a trend that is increasing, not decreasing. So what they also want to do with loyalty programs is to support this.
Yeah.
So they want to understand more about their customers because that gives them an additional angle to start their own retail business, to start their own retail operation. So they will copy some elements of what's proven and works in retail, bring that into their brand program to prepare their push into direct to consumer.
Also, there are those upcoming brands who are starting from e-commerce and starting from scratch, selling directly to the consumer, like Movement or there's the company Diwa Milano. They are both great in a way that they kicked off their presence immediately with a loyalty program, which supports just what you said, because they know that that's a differentiator, and it supports that customers should buy them through them and not through a retailer.
Yeah, you can even see it as an element of the brand in itself. By launching out and having a very clear statement that from day one, we are recognizing our loyal customers and we give back, which is not about just profit maximization. We're benefiting from each other. That can be a powerful element in a brand in itself at launch and differentiate that way.
Wonderful. So this was the difference between having a loyalty program for a brand and having a loyalty program for a retailer. I hope that this cleared some things and it was useful. Read more about the topic below, and we hope to see you next time too. Bye-bye.
Bye.